Welcome back to Hero Machines. Today we're diving into a world where strength, precision, and ingenuity come together in the forest and the workshop. From the towering machines that load heavy logs with absolute control, to the clever designs of powerful wood splitters that make tough jobs simple, this video is a journey through methods that bring both efficiency and value. If you've ever worked with wood or simply admire the craftsmanship behind it, this is something you'll want to watch closely. We begin our journey deep in the logging site, where freshly cut timber lies waiting to be hauled away. These are not small pieces of wood. They are massive tree trunks, heavy and stubborn, each weighing hundreds, sometimes thousands of pounds. Moving them requires far more than muscle. It calls for powerful machines and skilled hands working together in harmony. Watch closely as the operator brings the long-reach boom into position. With steady control, the grapple closes around a set of logs. It's almost like watching a giant steel hand pick up matchsticks, except here, every move demands absolute focus. Too much force, and the wood could splinter or crack, wasting valuable material. Too little, and the load could slip free, creating a dangerous situation. This is where years of experience truly shine. The operator must read the weight, the balance, even the angle of the logs before making a single motion. Once lifted, the timber is swung over to the waiting truck. The movement isn't rushed. It's smooth, calculated, almost like a dance between man, machine, and wood. The grapple releases the load into place, and then the process begins again, log after log, building the stack layer by layer. Notice how the logs are arranged on the truck bed. They are not just dropped in carelessly. Each piece is laid so that the pile stays tight, compact, and balanced. This careful stacking is critical. A well-built load won't shift when the truck rumbles over uneven ground or down steep mountain roads. It keeps the driver safe, protects other vehicles on the road, and ensures the timber arrives at the mill in perfect condition. For those who have ever worked with firewood by hand, you'll understand the immense value of this method. Think about the effort it takes just to load a pickup truck with split logs, lifting, stacking, adjusting so nothing falls out. Now imagine doing that with trees, 10 times the size, all in a fraction of the time. That's the power of these machines. Beyond saving time, they also save backs, shoulders, and joints. Logging has always been one of the toughest trades, with long days of heavy lifting and endless physical demands. Machines like this don't just speed up the process. They make it safer, reducing injuries and allowing workers to handle volumes of wood that would be impossible otherwise. What we see here is more than just timber being loaded. It's an example of skill-meeting technology, of tradition being carried forward with modern efficiency. The forest provides the raw material, the machine provides the strength, and the operator provides the knowledge. Together, they transform towering trees into organized loads, ready for the long journey to their next purpose. From the forest, we move to the workshop, where raw logs are turned into usable firewood. Here, we see the ingenuity of a homemade hydraulic splitter. Built with heavy steel and powerful hydraulics, this machine takes on logs that would be nearly impossible to split by hand. The method is simple but brilliant. A hydraulic piston drives a wedge straight through the log, using controlled force that human hands could never match. Even knotty, twisted wood that would resist an axe splits cleanly under the pressure. This isn't just about power, it's about efficiency. Each piece of firewood is created quickly, with minimal effort from the operator. For older folks who may no longer swing a heavy maul, machines like this keep the tradition of wood heating alive without the backbreaking labor. It's a reminder that sometimes the best solutions come not from a store, but from the creativity of skilled hands willing to build their own tools. Finally, we move to a splitter design that takes things to the next level. A trailer-mounted unit built for serious work. Unlike stationary machines, this design can be taken directly to where the logs are, saving hours of hauling and lifting. The splitter is designed for versatility. It handles large rounds of wood effortlessly, cutting them down into stove-ready pieces. Notice the trailer bed, which makes transporting both the machine and the finished firewood easier. This is the kind of setup that turns a tough day's labor into a manageable, even enjoyable task. What makes this truly valuable is how it combines power with practicality. For anyone heating their home with wood, or even supplying neighbors and family, a system like this doesn't just save time, it makes the work sustainable year after year. From the towering machines in the forest to the clever splitters in the workshop, each of these methods shows us the same truth. With the right tools, hard work becomes smarter work. For those of us who grew up stacking, splitting, and burning wood, these machines aren't just impressive. They carry forward traditions in a safer, more efficient way. Thanks for watching Hero Machines. If you enjoyed this journey into the world of logging and wood splitting, be sure to join us again for more incredible tools and methods that keep the spirit of craftsmanship alive.